4.2 To Serve with Love, Part 5. Hello dear students and dear friends. In my last video lecture, I started the discussion of the extract, that is chapter 17 from the novel To Serve with Love by E.R. Braithwaite, given in this lesson. Today too I will continue with the same extract, that is chapter 17, and I will explain the next part of this extract, that is chapter 17. In my last video lecture, I introduced you the procedure of the half-yearly report of the Students' Council of Greenslade School. In my last video lecture, I introduced you the procedure of the half-yearly report of the Students' Council of Greenslade School, and I also explained you the beginning of this event in Greenslade School. Now let's start the reading of the next part of this chapter 17. So friends, open your textbook of English and see on page number 182, or you can also read this on the screen in front of you. Now see the last paragraph from the left side. I will read it sentence by sentence and explain you in detail. Class after class was represented, and it was obvious that with each succeeding term there was a marked development in their ability to express themselves. The narrator, Ricky Braithwaite, who was the novelist and the writer himself, says that in that half-yearly report of the Students' Council of Greenslade School, class after class was representing their classes and presenting their report, and it was quite clear that with each following term there was a marked development in the ability of these students to express themselves. Much of the work was rather elementary, but to them it loomed large because they understood it and something of its relationship to themselves. Elementary means relating to the basic, essential or fundamental part of something. Loomed, to loom means to appear in an exaggerated or frightening form. Much of the work was rather related to the basic and essential and the fundamental things. Much of the work in that half-yearly report of Students' Council was quite basics. It was essential too. But even though it was rather the basic work, but still it appeared to be quite a frightening one and bigger one, because the students understood it and something of its relationship to themselves also. Throughout all the reports, the emphasis was on what they understood rather than on what they were expected to learn. Throughout all the reports of the classes in that yearly, half-yearly report of Green Slate School, the emphasis was on what they understood rather than on what they were expected to learn. When the turn of my class came, I sat up anxiously. And the writer says, when the turn, the writer or the narrator who is narrating this story in this novel, that is Ricky Braithwaite, tells us that he sat up anxiously when the turn of his class came. From the list held in his hand, Denham called out the names of the representatives together with the subjects on which they would report. One of the students from the narrator's class, Denham, was holding the list of the students along with the subjects they were presenting in that half-yearly report of the Student Council. So Denham, one of the students in the class of the narrator, had the list of the representatives of the students of the class of the narrator with their names and the subjects they would report in that half-yearly report of the Students' Council of Green Slate School. And this list was somewhat like this: Potter, arithmetic. Potter, one of the students in the narrator's class, was presenting the report or would present the report on arithmetic. Another one, that is Sapiano, nature study. Sapiano would present his report on nature study. Miss Peg and Jackson, another representative of the students from the narrator's class, would report on geography. Miss Day and Feynman, other students representative from the narrator's class, would present on physiology. Miss Dodd, another student representative or another representative of the student who would present her report on history. Denham, another student on PT and games, and Miss Joseph on domestic science. So this is the list of the representatives of the students from the narrator's class with their names and the subject that they would report in that half-yearly report of the Students' Council of Green Slate School. I felt terribly pleased and proud to see the confident courtesy with which Denham used to term Miss in addressing each of the senior girls. Now we know what type of class was that of the narrator. The students of the narrator's class were quite naughty. They were quite ill-mannered and indisciplined too. Even they bullied many times. They oppressed and tortured the narrator, who was their teacher too. And now when the narrator noticed that one of the students representative from his class, Denham, was using the term Miss to address each of the senior girls. The writer felt terribly pleased and proud as that courtesy was used by one of the students from his class. I repeat, as we know how were the students in the class of the narrator. They were quite indisciplined, ill-mannered, naughty, and even many times they tortured the narrator who was their teacher. But now the writer or the narrator notices the change in them. And when Denham addresses each of the senior girl with the term Miss, the writer or the narrator felt terribly pleased and proud. I felt sure that this would in itself be something for the younger ones to aim at, a sort of badge of young adulthood. And he felt sure that this would be something for what the younger students should aim at. This is the courtesy towards the younger students should aim at. As their names were called, they walked up to the stage and took their seats with commendable gravity. Commendable means deserving praise, and gravity means here extreme importance or extreme seriousness. Extreme importance or extreme seriousness. As the names of the representatives of the narrator's class were called, all the representatives of the students from the narrator's class walked up to the stage and they took their chairs, their seats with deserving praise and extreme importance. Miss Joseph gave a short address. One of the students representative from the class of the narrator, Miss Joseph, gave a short address. Address means a formal speech. She gave the formal speech. She said that their lessons had a particular bias towards the brotherhood of mankind, and they had been learning through each subject how all mankind was interdependent in spite of geographical location and differences in color, races and creeds. This Miss Joseph, one of the students representative from the narrator's class, said that their lessons, she was presenting her subject there, and she said that their lessons had a particular bias towards the brotherhood of mankind, and through every subject they are learning that all human beings are interdependent in spite of their geographical locations, differences in color, races and creeds. Then she called on Potter, another student representative from the narrator's class. And on which subject he would present? He would present on arithmetic. Then she called on Potter. Then Miss Joseph called on Potter, who would present his report on, or who would present the report on arithmetic. Potter went to speak of the work they had done on weights and measures of the relationships between the kilogram and the pound, the meter and the foot. Then Miss Joseph called Potter, and Potter went on speaking of the work they had done on weights and measures. They have done their work on the relationship between the kilogram and pound, meter and the foot. Means how, what type of relationship is there between weights and measures, or relationship between kilogram and pound, interrelationship between that. He said that throughout the world one or other of those two methods was either in use or understood, and that it was a symbol of the greater understanding which was being accomplished between peoples. Peoples means here the members of different nations, the members of different nations or communities or ethnic group. He says in the entire world one or two of these methods of weights and measurements, like kilogram or pound of weight, meter or foot of measures, are used in the entire world. He says, Potter says that in the entire world either one or two of these methods of weighing and measurement, of weighing like kilogram and pound, or for measurement meter and foot, are used by the people, and it is the symbol of the greater understanding which was being accomplished between the people of different nations, or between the people of different countries and communities. Sapiano spoke of, means this is the symbol of, means arithmetic is the symbol of the unity of people. What he wants to highlight here that Potter wants to highlight that arithmetic, that is weight, measurement, is the symbol, this is the symbol of universal unity of human beings, because all people use kilograms and pound. Some use kilograms, some use pound for weighing the things, some use a meter, some use foot for measuring the things. So in simple words, he says that this subject, or this is the symbol of greater understanding and unity. Sapiano spoke of the study the class had made of pastes, especially black rot on wheat, ball weevil on cotton, and the Colorado beetle on potatoes. Now see, black rot, ball weevil, Colorado beetle, these are the various diseases attacking the cultivated plants. These are the various diseases attacking the cultivated plants. Sapiano spoke of the study the class had made of different pests. Especially the class had made the study of black rot on wheat, ball weevil on cotton, and the Colorado beetle on potatoes. He showed how many countries had pulled their knowledge and results of this research on the behavior, breeding habits, and migration of these pests, and were gradually reducing the threat they represent to these important products. He says that Sapiano showed that many countries have formed the pool of their knowledge and made the researches on the behavior of breeding habits and migration of all these insects, and they are trying to reduce this danger of the pests, insects on the products and the crops in the entire world. He says many countries have collected their knowledge and formed the lake of their knowledge and the results of their researches on the behavior of breeding and the breeding habits and the migrations of all these insects and pests that destroy the cultivated plants are gradually reducing the danger of these insects and pests to the products and the plants in the entire world. These countries are doing it not only for themselves or for their own country but for the entire world. Miss Pegg and Jackson divided the report on geography between them. Miss Pegg and Jackson, other student representative from the narrator's class, divided the report on geography between them. Jackson spoke first on the distribution of mineral deposits and vegetable produce over the earth's surface, how a country rich in one was often deficient in the other, and of the interchange and interdependence which inevitably followed. Miss Pegg and Jackson divided the report on geography between them. Jackson spoke first on the distribution of mineral deposits and vegetable produce over the earth's surface, and how a country rich in one is deficient in other. If the country is rich in vegetable, it is quite deficient in mineral deposits. If it is rich in minerals, it is deficient in vegetable produce. And the interchange and interdependence is inevitable to balance this. Miss Pegg dealt with human relationships, stressing the problems facing the post-war world for feeding. Miss Pegg dealt with the human relationship, highlighting the problem faced by the world after the World War. The problem of feeding, clothing, housing and its populations. Miss Pegg dealt with the human relationship and she highlighted the problems faced by the world after the war, after the World War, for feeding, the problems of feeding, problems of clothing and problems of housing, its populations. These are the problems that the world faced after the World War. She also made a reference to the thousands of refugees, stateless and unwanted, and to the efforts and programs of UNICEF. Then this Miss Pegg also made a reference to the thousands of refugees and stateless and unwanted people. And she also referred the efforts and the programs organized by UNICEF, one of the wings of United Nations, that organize the programs for such refugees and stateless and unwanted people. So Miss Pegg made a reference. Miss Pegg made a reference to the thousands of refugees and stateless and unwanted people, and she also highlighted the programs and the efforts of UNICEF, one of the branches and wing of United Nations that does a lot of work, significant work for the refugees and the stateless persons and the unwanted persons all over the world. Fun Man, as usual, had a trump card in his sleeve. When called, he made a signal to someone off stage, and Welsh and Allison appeared bearing a skeleton between them. together with a sort of gallows. Now, gallows means a wooden structure used in the past to hang criminals from or as a form of execution. Gallows means it is a wooden structure used in the past to hang the criminals in the form of execution. Then another student representative, Funman, as usual, had a trump card up his sleeve. When his turn came, he made a signal to someone off stage, and then Welsh and Allison, other students, appeared bearing a skeleton between them with a sort of wooden structure that was used in the past for hanging the criminals. So friends, we should stop here. In my next video lecture, I will discuss the next part of this chapter or next part of this extract, but I suggest you to read this chapter once, twice and thrice, as this lesson is completely theoretical one, and the activities based on this chapter will have the answer in the form of facts and facts only. So better you read this chapter twice, thrice or 4 times for your better understanding, so that you will find the activities on this chapter easy. So I stop here. In my next video lecture, I will discuss the next part of this chapter 17. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.